Hello everyone! So today I just want to do a really fun video, and I've been wanting to do a theater tag, and I'm going to call it the musical acting theater first time tag. I pretty much just took questions from other tags that I liked and put them in this because I was like, why not? And please comment any of your answers to these. All of these are in the description, so you can answer all of them or just a couple. So please comment down below and let's get into it. So number one, how old were you when you started theater? I started theater when I was 12 or 13. I was always into musical theater, and then the first show I was in, I was 13 and I loved it immediately. Okay. Number dos is, what was the first musical you were in? The first musical I was in was Annie. I played Pepper. Number three, what were your childhood musicals or your favorite musicals as a child? I've had three: Cats, Phantom, and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I always joke around saying that like Andrew Lloyd Webber made my childhood because like those were the shows that seriously got me into musical theater. And number four, when was the first time you got the role you wanted? I would have to say the first time I got the role I wanted, I was in 9th grade. I was in a junior high school and we were doing the Big Bad Musical, and there were a couple roles that I wanted, but the one I wanted most was the fairy godmother. So we auditioned that day during school, and I just remember I like wanted to know so bad. And I think I was going on a family trip, so I wasn't gonna be there to find out. So I went into the director and begged him to tell me. And I got the fairy godmother. Super excited. It was such a fun role. Number five, most challenging role ever. So I've had a lot of different roles that require different things of me. So like the wardrobe, the costume, and the accent were very challenging, not necessarily the acting. So I would say that was probably one of my most challenging. Acting wise, I would have to say, okay, when I was 15, I auditioned to be in Les Mis and I got in the ensemble and I had to play a prostitute. And my little 15-year-old self really struggled with that. But I got through it. And apparently I was pretty good. Like, people went up to my parents and said, "Hey, your daughter did good in that show. She made a really good prostitute." That was fun. Okay, number six. Your first Broadway crush. Now, I don't know, mine always like change, but when I was super little, I don't know if this counts as a Broadway crush, because one of my favorite shows was Joseph. I loved Donny Osmond. Like, I wanted to marry him. I thought we were gonna get married one day as a child. So I just loved Joseph so much, and Donny Osmond was my Joseph. I love you, Donny Osmond. Okay. Number seven, woohoo, is your favorite role you've played. My favorite role I've ever played. Okay, there are a lot of roles I loved. I loved Penelope and See How They Run. She was so fun. But my favorite role I've ever played has got to be Irene Roth in Crazy for You, and I think I've said this in past videos. I love her so much. I need more Irene in my life, which sounds awful because she's a pretty awful character. But I loved that role. She was so fun and sassy, and she had the best costumes. So, number eight. This is how I do number eight, because there's 4 and 4. So number 8 is the first moment you realized you loved performing / theater. So, I don't know. Like I said, I always just kind of loved the musicals that I watched, like Phantom and Cats and Joseph and different things I saw. Like, I would go to see shows at my community theater and I liked it and I wanted to be a part of it. And when I got my first role, I absolutely loved it. But I think when I first realized I wanted to do theater for the rest of my life was when I went to see a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the Hale Center Theater in West Valley, Salt Lake City, Utah. I remember sitting in the audience and they were getting up and doing bows and I was standing up and clapping and crying. I was just so in love and wanted to be on stage with them so bad. I was just crying. And I don't know, that's always stuck with me. And that theater is like my place. My dream is to perform there when I grow up. I mean, I'm like going into college, I'm growing up, but one day I'm gonna perform there. And that childhood dream will come true. Number 9. Yeah, fingers, counting. Okay, number 9 is your biggest pet peeves. Okay, so I have a lot, but I'm gonna go with my biggest. Okay, the first one is when people sass the tech. Because I think, okay, I love actors, but sometimes they just get really big heads and they make me so mad because they think they're the only ones who are making this show work. And not only the tech that they sass, but they act like they don't need the other actors, and that's just so annoying. My other big pet peeve is when people disrespect theater and they treat it like, oh, you don't have to do much, it's pretty easy. Because we literally go through like 50 billion rehearsals to put on this show that usually, like high school productions, only last 5 days, or at least the ones I've been in. So you put in all this work to put on a show for only a couple days, and then everybody's like, yeah, it was good, and I'm just like, and last but not least, number 10 is your first major onstage mistake. So I don't remember a whole ton in some of my first shows that were huge, but when I was in 2nd grade, my little child self wanted to do the talent show. So my mom had this lady hand sew me a dress that looked like Christine's ball gown for the masquerade scene from the movie version. And my brother got this Phantom costume and we sang the Phantom of the Opera song. And I got so nervous, I started out singing the wrong verse. And I just remember I started singing the wrong verse and I had a freak out and they cut the music and I ran to the front of the stage and my mom's like trying to record it. I'm like, Mom, I don't know the lyrics, I can't remember. But eventually I remembered, I don't know how, they just came to me and we sang through it and I was scarred for life. I was traumatized and horrified and I didn't really perform any solos for a long time. That was my first major onstage mistake. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be notified when I put out videos, just hit the subscribe button. And yeah, have a good day. Oh, and by the way, for those who don't know me, I'm Sarah Clark. Like, that's the name of my channel. So, hi, welcome, subscribe, love you guys.